Okay, well, I'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. No one signed up to talk, so we're ready to roll call.
What's here? Here. Whittlesey? Goff?
Here.
Fletcher? Here. Brock?
Here. The meeting is called to order. Under President's Court, it's nice to see activity around here. I think a lot of the things that are going on are positive, and I want to commend our superintendent for initiating that, and our treasurer for letting him do it.
Not without a fight.
So anyway, but it's always exciting with the building clean and all the desks put back together and everything else. It's nice to see that. So. And the only other thing I have is remind everybody we're in the fair booth next Tuesday from 2 to 7. You guys are in the fair booth next Friday from 7 to 11. And you can show up anytime you want, or send one of your children. We'll take you over. Tuesday from 2 to 7? Yeah. That's our regular time. We have two that choose to do other
We have
times.
enough on Tuesday.
I have no problem with you guys doing Friday night.
I'm flipping burgers.
You guys are all there?
I'm kicking him off the grill this year.
Oh, no. Carpenter's doing the grill. Yeah, God bless him. Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Yeah, but.
You should have.
Brad, you did it last year. It's probably.
He has no memory. He does it.
We had
Mrs. Sandel, I'm sorry.
We had Nick on. I enjoyed it.
Since
Hard to believe it.
he's kind of been gone.
I love how long last year. This is actually
What?
not gonna happen.
No, you guys can tag team back there, make sure we get all our orders right, right guys?
I'm gonna be visiting, I'm going to be sightseeing in Detroit.
Oh, that nice slide that we saw earlier? Yeah, okay.
What's he doing?
Yeah.
We're one down.
Okay, so anyway,
We're good?
but thank you guys for helping out with that, I really appreciate it. Yes, I think we'll be fine with what we have. Okay, Madam Superintendent.
Okay, I have, there's 3 components, although 2 things are listed. The first thing is things that, a big idea that I want us to learn more about, and that's the impact group. And I have shared information in updates with you over the last month and a half. And I've been waiting patiently for tonight so you could hear firsthand about the group. We have Don Poliak, I say that correctly? Yes, thank you. Thank you. From the impact group here to talk to you, to present to you about the company and everything it has to offer. And I'm going to give him the floor here in a moment. We also have Joe Newell here from Marlington. He's the superintendent of Marlington, one of our neighbors. He contract services through the impact group. So they're not working together right now, even though they're sitting close, they are separate people. So I'm going to have Don talk first about the impact group from his spiel, and then I'm going to have personal testimony from Joe from another superintendent's perspective and how the group works with Marlington and how he feels about the product that they offer. Okay, so Don, I will welcome you up here to speak.
Thank you, and seeing as that you've been here since 3 o'clock and been very active, I'll try to be very clear and brief as well. I did bring some information, and I wanted to thank Superintendent Montgomery for the invite as well. Thank you. Normally you have Tom Speaks here. Tom Speaks and I started the business about 14 years ago. And what we have is a company that's a strategic communications agency. And we work with various government groups throughout the state of Ohio. You've seen some of our work through the governor with the Stop Human Trafficking campaign that's now reached out to the state. We work with the state's treasurer. We've worked down to county levels. We work with cities, school districts, park districts, boards of developmental disabilities, all throughout the state. And what we do is we help meet this growing need where communication and community engagement is becoming a very complex issue. There's people throughout the communities that are thirsting for information. You have organizations that sometimes have trouble communicating their true value and what's happening within like a school district. So our passion and our specialty is working with a lot of school districts, and we work with school districts throughout the state. What we do is we're a group of writers, designers, some market research folks, and what we do is we provide the resources where most districts might not have a full team to meet the complexities of the way that people communicate nowadays, to be able to arm a district with basically a full communications department. You would tap into us. We meet with you regularly and we provide all the different tactical needs that a district would have to communicate, to engage your community. That's it in a nutshell as far as what we provide. What we're proposing is what we do with a lot of the different school districts throughout the state, which is to help to raise the level of engagement within your community by putting a team working with you and the administration, working with all the different various schools, principals, communications team that already exists, and using our perspective of best practices throughout the state to come and help you better engage and raise the levels of awareness of the value that you provide to the community.
I feel like, can we just dialogue back?
I think that's a good way to go. We've been going since 3 o'clock, so.
Okay, so one of the major concerns, we spent the afternoon talking about the positive direction that we're taking as a district. And we talked about, how those budget cuts, removing those $2 million out of the budget, how we regress backwards as a district, and how we're incrementally increasing a positive direction. I'm fearful that if we don't change our practice, we could be engaging in just cyclical behavior, and then we would regress again as we proceed throughout the 5-year forecast when it becomes time to ask for money again. I feel like one of the major things that I heard as a principal when I started, I guess I've been part of campaign experiences back to the year 2000 in the district, just as a voter. The biggest complaint is, lack of communication. And I found in the last 3 years, the more we communicated, that didn't change that message. So I feel like from where I'm sitting, I feel like there's a surplus of communication. And yet we're not able, for whatever reason, to reach people in such a way where we're getting feedback that says, yes, we've heard your message. And I hate to say this publicly, but I almost don't care where they stand on an issue. I care, are they informed to make a stance that is an educated stance. So I feel like there's a missing link, and that's what really piqued my interest to start talking with them. But, I remember I told you about the district of Montana that we Skyped with that had 40,000 students. They have a team of people that work with them. They have a cabinet level team of administrators. There's 25 people that sit around the superintendent. We have 4. And I don't know, remember I told you we have the same issues between the 40,000 student district to the 1,200 student districts. I don't feel like we have the resources in place to meet the communication needs of the district. I feel like we try really hard. I feel like we've got a whole bunch of good things going, and Tom said that. He said we have a lot of things in place that are really moving in the right direction. And yet I feel like we're still coming short, and I feel like in a non-levy times, that's when we really need to get the message out about all the great things we're doing, many of the things you heard earlier. So that's what drew me to this company, and that's why I invited Don here. So you have to have questions. So what does this look like? How are they gonna, well, let's just talk about that. How's it gonna look like?
Sure.
So Tom said we would have monthly meetings.
Yes, you have a team that comes around, you have monthly meetings where we really plug in. But one of the big values, and one of the things that we see throughout the districts that we work with all around, is that there's a bit of a blessing in kind of having an outside group be able to kind of give a refreshing approach to how to communicate and simplify what it is and package from a writing standpoint and how you communicate it, that typically creates where it starts to click. And one of the things that we really encourage, and you have in your packets, is a lot of the districts that we work with, especially up here that are close. We'd encourage you to talk to those folks. I'm really thankful to Joe, even for coming up, even with family in town, as one of our clients, to speak and give you insight on kind of how this works in your experience. But you have a regular team that comes in and acts as a communications department for you. Every district has some strengths and some talents with some of your communications folks, and we kind of fill our team in around that, right? So as far as from a strategic standpoint of being able to see from a message standpoint of how to simplify the message, we go over how the message is getting out, what's being said, how it's being said, and we come around that and help fill that out. On this, you'll have a lot of the bullet points here, so because it's a pretty exhaustive list, there's different districts communicate and it clicks differently all throughout the state, right? So whether our team is more on the electronic side of things, doing more writing, that might be the case. You might be a district that we're more on a design or social media side of things that help from an online standpoint. You might find us as helping out just purely from a messaging standpoint. Sometimes districts are saying so much, there's so much. I don't want to. There's so much communication going on that it's not simple enough for people to retain it to really understand what you're trying to get across, right? Which is what happens in marketing and communications all over. So I apologize for not being clear on answering exactly how it works because it's so different with each one of our districts. Even our teams are slightly different for each one of our districts where we come in. But we know that the basic idea of what it looks like is you're going to have an outside communications department with us that we plug in on a regular basis. We meet, we clean, we help clean and make the writing very clear and concise. Help you, how are you writing? How are you communicating? When are you communicating? Who are you communicating to, right? We'll look at all of those different areas and we'll apply best practices. One of the blessings I think that we can bring is the fact that we've been doing this for 14 years in various capacities for communities, right? And so we kind of know and start to get a feel for our communities and we know kind of what works, when it works, why it works, where it works. And then we just start to apply that type of practice. And then you start to see the progress, right? We have districts throughout that all of a sudden you'll start to get the feedback of, some more people who I didn't know that, I didn't know that, right? And you start to raise the level of awareness of what you're doing. Is that helping you out?
Yeah, for sure. I like that it's critical of our needs. And I
Absolutely.
think they look in many different ways. When Joe speaks, he's going to tell us how your meetings needs in Marlington. So, I mean, that'll help us see, an area district. Then maybe you can envision and how it might look here.
And Marlington's going to be different from Hudson or from Massillon, one of our other clients, Worcester, a lot of the different districts that we work with. But the playbook's very similar. We're here, right? We come down. We're a part of the team. We're not going to just consult and say, well, this is what you need to do, right? We're there. Jean Stern, superintendent at Garfield Heights for years, she said, the biggest value you guys bring is that you get it done because it's not something that we're just going to add more to a desk in the administration where, there's less and less people to do more and more things, right? So, we're going to come in, that's why we have the writers and we have the folks that can coordinate and get the jobs done, even at the basic level from printing to working with your local media. That's what we do.
Question?
A couple. Would it entail even such things as maybe revamping our website, making our website more? I know websites now are kind of more focused. You have a main theme you want to get across. What is your main point? And whereas our website is very nice, and the fact that it has a lot of information, but maybe sometimes we have too much information. But if somebody gets on and, you know, the policy, you guys come in and maybe streamline it, at least initially, but allow them to dig in, you know, it's within 5 clicks, you're supposed to be able to find the meeting or something, or some magic number of clicks, something like that.
Absolutely. The trends, you know, we've seen this over the last 14 years as far as how communities are using the web, you know, and helping you even, it's not just the parents and the staff and the teachers and the kids, you know, it's also how is the community using the you know, the web, you know, here to get information, or are, you know, are they looking and to receive their information from other ways and other avenues, and we can help you out with that as well.
Is this one of those things where, is it usually, typically a 1-year thing, or is it where you go the first year, and then I guess that the years after that, the amount, the need decreases because, or is it something that's just continuing?
You know, and this is something that this is what the board needs to debate and understand, you know, at what level, what priority is community engagement, right? What is the priority of this community as far as communicating the value and what's happening within the district? Because it's constantly changing. What we found is, you know, our first client's still with us 14 years later. And, you know, we typically work with a lot of the districts for years, right? Because it's not necessarily to fix an issue here or a potential negative problem there. I mean, it's really what we bring is a team that helps you constantly and properly communicate, which is, you're going to have that need today, you're going to have that need next year, you're going to have that need in a couple of years. It just depends on at what level is that a priority for the board, right? Who does that, and how much of a priority that is. So typically our engagements last for years and years. I think we've been working with Wellington for 4 years now. It's been longer than that. Time's flying. Yeah.
This is 3.
It's 3 for you. Okay, so a lot of times it happens over years, and our team works in different capacities. So we have a strategic plan team that works in some of the different districts, right? So right now we're doing some of the strategic plan for some districts. Then we might have one of the communications teams, right? Which is kind of what we're proposing down here to help you. And then we even have teams that provide some research that help kind of really uncover a little bit more about what the needs and the wants are of their community for what you provide. So it could change, but the one thing that remains constant is that communication need. So typically we work with districts for quite a while.
How about we give an opportunity for Superintendent Noel to speak?
Sure.
And I think Don, you should stay, I would say if I can hear what he has to say and maybe go back to the questions after we hear more.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's different being on this end. You know? What I did is I just brought some evidence, and I was just going to kind of walk through some of the things that I have experienced with the Impact Group, and this is going to be year 3 for me. So I get hired in July, a couple years ago, and board hands me a $7.9 million bond issue for brand new buildings across the district. 5 brand new. It says, go get it. Okay, so first thing I look at, I said, what's this Impact Group all about? And I called Tom and Abby, who are 2 members of his team that work with me. And we go to work on this bond campaign. And to be honest with you, I'm going to show you some evidence. They did a fantastic job of putting together flyers, pictures, key facts, those bullet points that you have to get out. How much is it going to cost? $100,000 home, all that kind of stuff. So that was my first experience with them. And to Superintendent Montgomery's point, we lost the bond issue, but I think I know that I won the communication, because all the people that we talked to in survey, at committee meetings, whatever, say, you know what, Joe, we knew what we were voting on. We stood for it. Okay. So at the end of the day, I felt really good because really our job is to educate you and then educate our community. And even though we didn't win the bond campaign, I really believe that coming in for me, especially year 1, we were able to start winning that communication now. Okay. And it's not that people don't like our product, they just couldn't afford that $200 some dollars it's gonna cost them a year, okay? If they're the $100,000 homeowner. So that was my first experience with the Impact Group, okay? And you'll see some of those things coming around. The other thing that they do daily for us are press releases, okay? One thing I've learned in my 3 years as superintendent, if we don't toot our own horn, nobody will, plain and simple. So we're practicing on being horn tooters, okay? So we do a lockdown drill, district-wide, we do a nice press release. They write it up for us, they bring it to me, they even give me nice quotes. And seriously, they do it. They write the article for me, and it says, Mr. Knoll said it on, whatever, I'll make a few changes, okay? But, because I kind of tailor it to my community, which they're getting a better feel for. But we send the information, they type it up and get it back to me. I hope you have not experienced this, but we had a student pass away last year. Terrible tragedy. In fact, I just had one a couple weeks ago, another one of mine. There was no class for us on how to respond to that and how to write things up. That's what these folks do. I received letters from them to send to our staff, to send to our parents. I received little bullet points for like the all calls. Mr. Montgomery and I do a lot of all calls. I'm sure you guys have that too. Okay? They've been very helpful in those types of things. First thing I told the board is I said, hey, we're going paperless at board meetings. I'll throw that at you. You might want to think about that. We have no paper. We have no paper. Absolutely.
Did you hire a company to help you do that? Or did you guys do it? You did it?
That's the company right there.
I was at
Yep.
the conference last year, the Capitol Conference, and I got information, and I turned it over to him about a company that basically did that, specialized in making these board meetings.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, no. The paperless board meeting company is Knoll Incorporated. Oh, that was me. I was it. But if you're interested in doing that,
I'm not being.
couple minutes, I don't say no, but seriously, smart thing I did, because you know what, we're gonna lead in technology with the 5 of you. That's what I told the board. If we're gonna be moving to technology, you all gonna start. And God bless them, they did. They got their own iPad, and where they went. We're now 3 years in. iPads that pay for themselves, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that was just so expensive. You never, the company I was talking to was so expensive, you'd never get the payback, so that was.
We use a cloud called Dropbox. You guys have never heard of it. It's about computers, piece of cake. We all can do it. Doesn't cost you a penny. All you pay for is the technology initially. All right. So a good treasurer comes up to me and says, "Hey, Mr. Knoll, we're spending some money on this company. Are we getting our money's worth?" So after year one, you know, because a good superintendent sometimes lets things flow. Then you start looking at that. And I said, you know what? We're doing some things on our own that Impact Group could be doing. They do they do all of our newsletters. Every single building, okay, I have 5 of them. They do all the newsletters. And then they do one from me that's called the News and Views, my district-wide one. We put that out 4 or 5 times a year. We send them everything. They put it together, the graphics, the pictures, the format, all that, put it together for us, send it back. We do building profiles. Talk about my middle school, my pre-elementary to high school, okay? Numbers, who the principals are, important dates, those types of things. That information's going out. I do a lot of what you guys did earlier, PowerPoint presentations. I'll call Abby and say, hey, I need this logo on a PowerPoint template. Within a half an hour, it's back in my hands, and my PowerPoint presentation's up and running. I do one of these for you all. This is a board pack. Something you guys might want to think about doing, because we have people come that don't know my board members. Okay, every now and then, especially if you get a new one. So we did a press packet for our media folks that come in that has a picture of all my board members, all their contact information, you know, when the board meets, that type of thing.
We prefer to be anonymous.
And there's some merit to that. There is. Until they come, and then there's, you know, sometimes having that nice connection is helpful at times. All right. They do a ton of surveys for me. I am a math junkie, former math teacher. I'm all about numbers. So we do a lot of surveys, and Abby puts those together. We use SurveyMonkey, which is a free tool. We don't get too fancy. But they have done 4 or 5 surveys for me in the district. One of them was after the bond campaign. What day do you like? My big question was, what can you all live with here? That's really what I needed to know, okay? So we did that survey. I've done a community survey on something I have here next about a strategic plan. Don talked about that. We just did our 5-year strategic plan with their guidance. Tom has come in and had community meetings. He's met with my ministers. He's met with my staff. There's no saying you never profit in your own land. So what he tells me to do is, I leave. I come in, say hi, and I walk out the door.
And I'm
As a
going
leader. Alright? Now here's why. People out here will say things to people not like me in leadership positions, okay? Like it or not, that's just what happens. They feel more comfortable when somebody like you out walk out of the room. Now, when he and I leave a room, you better have a lot of confidence in that guy or gal that's left in there, okay? Because they're planning your district at that time, having some good hard conversations. And I do. Those 2 that I have, they're fantastic. And I walk out numerous times and let them run the show. But they collect all that data, they put it together for you, they put it in charts, however you want it. We just got done, like I said, with strategic planning. I'll leave you with this. They did what's called a SWOT analysis. You look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You guys been through all that time, so I won't get into that. But they have done all that for me. And by the end of the 6-month time period, we had a document that looked like this. 5-year strategic plan. Okay, 7 goals in it, time bound, all the expectations are there. Now they hand the fun part is they hand it off to you and say, good luck. Now at the district level, what we're on. But I'll leave all that with you. That's a quick little, hopefully not very long summary of what they have done for me. I will say this, the days of the bus going down Lombard Avenue and picking up all those kids are gone. I'm just going to be very honest with you. It's not like that anymore. Okay? Kids have choices. You're getting things in the mail, or you're getting e-pods and the K-12 online learning. And this guy knows every time one of those kids leaves, how much it costs water. Really close, 50, 70, whatever. $5,700 walks out of this district every time a kid leaves. Same time a kid leaves me, same dollar amount. So where I'm at is this. I get 6 or 7 kids to either stay or come to me. I'm ahead of the game on what I'm paying them every year. That's really what it's coming down to for me. It's all about the competition. And tooting our own horn. Because if we don't do it, nobody's going. Any questions?
Questions?
I'll leave all that stuff with you. If you're more than welcome to keep it, do whatever you want to.
Did you see a change in, when you guys started doing this, to more attendance of people coming?
The attendance? Absolutely not. No. No. And it's sad to say, but I mean, you guys know how it goes. Okay?
We don't see that in any of our districts.
But like I said, I feel better people are getting communicated with and are telling us, Joe, we're getting the message. Because really, at the end of the day, that's all he and I can do. Really, that's it. If he and I are doing that, and we're educating you because you're the spokespeople for your folks out there, that's really our job. And the Impact Group has made that very doable for us. Any other questions?
Do you have any questions for Joe or for Don? Good? Appreciate you. I thank you.
You guys know where I live in Mollington, so if you have anything.
Actually, my daughter goes to your building, comes to your building.
Who's that?
You work with in general, your students and your business. And the ones that go to the competition, Mr. Brady's.
Mike Rickle.
She's the last 3 years she's come in for coastal. and working with that.
At Coastal Pet?
Yeah, she has so many nice things to say about the business. and Mr. Brady.
Great, well, I lost him.
Yeah. It's a great program.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. All right. And my condolences for having to work with Miss B. I know her from way back. Her and I grew up together on the same street. And when I saw her, I said, oh, boy, I feel bad for you all. Good luck. I said, hug her. And I hugged her. You can't hug a union president, okay? Take a picture. Guess that'd be nice.
Thanks, guys, very much for your time. This is being famous.
I know. That's just what I sit back here.
Okay, so I think that we'll have further conversation on that. Hopefully that gives you some more information to what you've already read in the updates. And what I'd like to do is move right into what Brian requested from last month, which was an update from the Stadium Improvement Committee. I think that hopefully you'll remember what message you just heard as we talk about the Stadium Improvement Committee and where we are in that process. I have packets for you, those are the ones I told you. We obviously did not go paperless tonight. That's evidence of the mountains that you had to take home with you tonight. But I wanted to talk you through where we were. So the Stadium Improvement Committee is comprised of 10 people. Lisa and Ken are a part of the board. There are other community members that are with us, and we have met 6 times, and a portion, I would say half of those meetings, at least half of these have been site visits to other stadiums. So we have visited, you're going to have to help me with Louisville, East Palestine, West Branch, and Wadsworth. So we went to those sites to see, well, let's back up. Remember that the inception of this was because the board, you as the board, said that we need to investigate more into the possibility of looking at a bond issue for the stadium project due to the lack of fundraising, the lack of success in fundraising. So the board gave us that directive, some of the board's on it, and we are, I think we're in a good place right now. So we did those 4 stadium visits. Then we came back as a team and we figured out, after everything we saw, what we would like. And what would we like to put together for Waterloo. And then how much it would cost. So in the packet that I gave you, you're looking for what's behind on the screen for those of you in the audience is option 2. Okay, that's the one that the team liked. It says Waterloo Stadium 2014 option 2 if you're looking for it in your packet. It is a complete redesign of this existing stadium, complete with synthetic turf, all-weather 8-lane track, bleachers being redone, replaced. And then in the lower left-hand corner, you will see a complex that is comprised of home locker room, visitor locker room, wrestling room, restrooms, concessions, ticket booths. So they're all together in the main entrance. The architects who designed the building, the campus that we're in right now, is Architectural Vision Group, or AVG. They put this together for us. As a committee, then we decided what we liked, what we didn't like. And we have since made some revisions to what you're seeing in your packet, and we are in communication with SIAD from AVG to see if he can meet those accommodations. We wanted the project to come in at under 2 mils. That was the objective. We have actually done that right under the water at 1.9 mils. So for 1.9 mils, it will generate $5.2 million, and that's what the project is estimated to cost. $5.2 million for the initial projections. And that would be a 30-year bond at 1.9 mils. We examined, the drawings, and we gave SIAD some suggestions. He said to us that we need an updated survey of the land because the space is so limited, and since there were changes from the original, since he was in here last in 2003. So we have had a survey Lewis Land, I believe that's the surveying company who did the original project. Lewis Land has been on District Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, at least 2 of the days this week, getting updated surveying information because AVG said at this point now we can't move any further without having those updated specs. So we're getting those or that information so we can proceed with this discussion. We talked about as a group, so we have a design that we like. We're getting surveying. We have a bond that is under 2 mils. Now what? That's where the group was really the now what stage. And we talked about if and when we would put it on the ballot. And I think that, we had these big dreams of maybe putting it on November, and they passed quickly. And right now, we're kind of in this, I'm gonna have another meeting in September to talk some more about this, about what to do from here. But I will tell you that the impact group intrigues me if we went with them, they could help us with this process. Because I would hate, you express concerns that you want to put this on one time only. And it's either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and we're not going to burden the community with multiple attempts to pass this bond. I feel like if we're going to take that stance, I think it becomes critically important that we ensure that the community members are well informed. And I think that it's critically important that we make the best decisions possible to ensure at least, our best chance of passage. Now, obviously, there's separate topics, but I just want to tell you there is a lot of overlap here of what they said and where we are in the process if we want to use them. We don't have to use them. However, I think they would be extremely helpful in this process in figuring out if and when we should put on the levy and how we should do it. So that's where we are as far as the committee. Lisa or Ken, is there anything that I left off in terms of where we are in this process or your thoughts as board members on the committee?
The problem with, we also discussed before, once we come up with this amount, we have to come up with the amount first, put it on the levy first before we can go out and look for companies to do this, because we know we have a lot of local companies that can help us. So, but we can't do that first. What we were hoping for was to be able to get their quotes and get that down before we ever put it on the ballot, but it doesn't work that way. So that was one thing we really wanted to do, was be able to go out and get those prices and get those quotes, but it doesn't work that way. So we could have extra money left over if we, have some generous local contractors that help, but unfortunately, that's not the way the process works. It kind of works backwards, that makes sense.
And I'm finding, we're working on the scoreboard for the softball and baseball. We had to have stamped architectural drawings before they can dig a hole on the project. So no matter what the scope of the project is, we have to make sure we met all the requirements. So.
And we also are talking about getting more quotes, the whole general, right?
What do you mean the whole?
Not just from ABG, what we're talking about.
Well, ABG is just an architect.
Well, I don't
Design for.
Yeah, so their numbers are what, they're picking general numbers from other projects.
Yes.
Right, so we could.
That number,
It's all,
That could come under, we could go over.
There are companies.
Same as what we did when we built.
right, there are companies that build these. ABG doesn't necessarily build it. So we would have to get like 3 quotes from companies that would be the general contractor and do this.
Well, it's part of the construction.
Right,
Right.
right.
It has to
So it could be hard to realize it. That's unfortunately the,
I have a couple of thoughts. I see that the first 2 options here, we have had a natural, which I believe is grass.
Yes.
The third
Well,
option,
no. Oh, are you saying on the price breakdown?
pricing.
Yes.
Natural.
Natural is non-synthetic turf, correct?
Just some very good grass. Whereas in the last option, the larger one, more detail is synthetic. I guess one of my concerns is no matter what we do, whether we do grass or we don't do grass, we do turf, or even if we don't do anything, we take care of what's up there in summer, if we do grass. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but the real key is even if we don't do anything, we need to set aside money each year. There needs to be standard maintenance put into the field, whether it's the one we've got, if it's a new grass field or if it's a new turf field. And turf fields, the thing that's scary about turf fields is they last between 10 and 15 years. At the end of 10 to 15 years, you're looking at another whatever to replace it. In grass fields, you're looking at spending $20,000 or $10,000, whatever. I got a number last week, capital conference, I apologize, it's not I got it written down at home. You know, for the year maintenance of that grass field to make it last theoretically forever. The one big advantage about a turf field is that when you have a turf field, all of a sudden everybody wants to use it. It's going to get a lot more use. You're not as susceptible to weather. You know, you get everything from the baseball team out there in the spring hitting fly balls because you can shovel the snow off and you get the snow off more quickly to community groups, to soccer, there's so many different people want to use the turf in the track. Whereas with the grass, you're still limited by the weather having not a lot to do with it. So I would think that those are some of the things that we have to come to.
East Palestine has everyone and their brother, from the elementary gym classes to all the varsity sports, to communities. They have everybody using it. And I like theirs best, honestly, and theirs is the oldest of all of them, too, I believe. So, I think so.
And really, we're spending a lot of time on this, a lot of time as a group, as a subcommittee, to figure out how this would look for us, what would be best for us. And, I feel like it's, we're on the fence on how to do this and do it well. I think that if we were to proceed and pass, this really could be, the epicenter of Randolph and Haviland. It would be monumental. So it's very exciting, but it's also very scary because it's a constant give and take.
I don't, you mentioned that we wanted this to be a one-time shot. I don't know if one-time shot, maybe if we planned it and you said, okay, we're going to try to pass it in the calendar year 2015, I can only spend a year, it's going to be 16, whatever, and say, we're going to put it on the early one, and we're going to put it on it, and if it doesn't pass, then we're going to put it on the November one, and that's what we're going to do, that kind of thing. But I think that we really need to, I think we've got a lot of information, and I don't know if the subcommittee wants to make a recommendation to us, we have a meeting and invite the subcommittee and have an open dialogue to see what should go to go. I think that
This isn't, the example, the 1.9 mils and the way it's broken down, that's one example. And that's just showing that if we went with the full-blown program, we could still keep it under 1.9. That doesn't mean that's what the committee is suggesting at this point. That's just showing that at this point in time, if we wanted to go with the whole shebang, we can do it at 1.9 mils.
I think the other thing we need to do is Todd loves researching digging out old expenses, but it's interesting enough. I know we put a lot of money into the system up there, just in the sound system the last couple of years, and then the scoreboard and the electricity, and now the press boxes, and really, it'd be nice to know what kind of money we put into it in the last 3 years, let's say, in maintenance of out there. And then also things we'd be interested to see is if we could have a wrestling room and a men's locker room, a home and a visitor locker room, I guess we call it, and all that. Is that going to increase? Is that going to be big operating costs, or is it really going to be pretty much the same as what we have here? Because we have that here, it's in this building as opposed to a separate. I want to see, I guess, be nice to build this for 1.9 mils, but then we need to make sure that it's not going to be something we can't afford to operate and maintain.
So I think I'm going to schedule another subcommittee meeting, if it's okay with you guys. Maybe early September, prior to the board meeting, and then maybe bring that committee here, or I guess it depends on where we think the subcommittee is at that point. I feel like there's still some fleshing out that we need to do with, when the surveying comes back and how that impacts things. I feel like if we are going to, like if the subcommittee comes back and says that we would like to proceed with this project, that's our recommendation, then I think we need to take a good hard look at how we're going to educate people about this project. How are we going to get the information out? How are we going to enable them to be informed decision makers? And I think that's the big issue. All this other stuff is small in comparison to that. And if we don't do a good job, all of it will be phenomenal for sure.
Sorry, it looks like my headlights are on, and I'm like,
No, they're not.
they're not from your end? Good,
They look like it, but they're not.
good. I'm sorry, I'm thinking someone breaking into my car.
In the spring, we
You
need.
might repeat what I just said.
No, I got it.
Yeah, because if we're gonna be on the ballot in the spring, we need to, and we really start thinking about that and how, I think when we started this subcommittee thing, I personally think it's something that I think it's a great thing. It'd be a fabulous thing for our community. It'd be a great center, like you said, a center of the water community. I would be all for it. So I mean, it's one of those things I would be all for it. We just need to make sure that we're not taking ourselves a financial hole as far as maintenance upkeep. What are we spending now? I mean, would we be able to save? When we put the lighting in up there, that lighting was put in with a very specific purpose and very specific locations to be able to keep it when we change. Hopefully,
No, it doesn't need change.
it doesn't need change. So, that was something we did when we did House Bill 264. So I guess that's a great thing. We don't have to.
In that sound system, you talked about all of the transfer as
Yes.
well, so that could also be out this way.
That would be,
Well,
see, that's what I said, that would
the
be.
new stuff is, for
Yeah,
sure.
But, because I know we've poured a lot of money and energy into it over the last several years. And we've had a lot of work done for free by our local skilled tradesmen out there running new drainage, finding broken drain tiles and stuff.
And I tell you, this is what concerns me, is that we put so much money and effort into it, and what do we have? We can't even hold sanctioned meets there for track. It's not a legal thing. We have bleachers that are not adequate. They're not safe. They're a liability, quite frankly. As much as we try to say it's not, those are antiquated. They don't have you couldn't buy those kind of bleachers in this day and age.
You know how those bleachers were made, right? The old wooden, the framing was expected to be okay. And a very dedicated group of parents got together and wanted to replace the wood planking, brick cladding, remember, just replace the wood planking with aluminum, and found out the cost to do that was just way too much. So we worked with East Manufacturing, was able to get a great rate on buying the aluminum, extruded aluminum seating and flooring, whatever we put your feet on. And we went up there many Saturday mornings and bolted on the new sheets of extruded aluminum backing for seats and flooring. I mean, lots of weekends up there. I don't know. Remember that up back?
Back in my front.
Probably 25 to 30 years ago.
The
Back
thing
in
is,
1990, when they changed all that over, it was unsafe then because of the wood flooring and at that time. But I noticed since you put new bleachers on that other side, plus a pad, I think. But before you would go with anything, he was talking about surveying, the gentleman from Arlington. I would throw a survey out to the people of the community and see what kind of input you get back on that. You know, how hard it was on the school levy, the 5, you know. I would see something to get the people talking. Before you succeed in anything, you gotta put a winning team up there. You see that with any baseball or football, you're gonna draw the people.
Well, you're not gonna get a winning team out there on those facilities, I tell you that now.
But we haven't in the past, just like track, we dominated the track.
Yeah, but your facilities and all your surrounding schools are way far above what we have here. And they're turning out athletes that don't have to put up with the conditions that we put up with or the injuries associated with that kind of facility. Obviously, we've got a very clay-based kind of facility that's not, it's not adequate with as far as crowning. It's not consistent from one end to the other, from side to side. It's just not adequate. It's not something that you can say that you have a competitive facility. And if you go around district to district to district to district, you'll see that very few of them have these kind of facilities anymore. Hopefully, what I'm trying to do is say that not only are they not adequate, but they are going to be the jewel of the community. I mean, I think there's ways that we can incorporate the usage of these kind, and I've been associated with other schools, K through 12, that have taken facilities like this and through community involvement, community participation. It was an opportunity to tie that community to the school and utilize these as a resource to bring people in to see that one, it's a sense of pride, and two, it's a sense that I can see what I'm getting for my money. Lots of times with levies, you really have no particular tangible, something you can feel, use, or see from your levy meetings. You hope for the best, and it's being used conscientiously. Here's a project where you're actually seeing the results. It's something you can utilize as a community member. It's something you can be proud of when you put an athletic team out there. And also those people that are athletes, that you know you're protecting them. We've spent a tremendous amount of work in the state of Ohio going over concussion protection over the past 2 years and setting up regulations. And, here, I can't believe that we haven't had more damage to our knees and ankles and things of that nature because of the condition of the facilities. And this facility will be a 3-season facility too. And it can be utilized by both football, club sports, soccer, track, which most importantly, they need to have some place that they can competitively utilize a facility. Plus, it's a good rent. It'll be able to bring in finances from outside to help support and offset the maintenance of this facility. And that's what we hope to do. So, I mean, as the process goes along, I'm sure we'll have a lot more concrete ideas. But I just think it's a tremendous opportunity. I hope that we're very clear on it, because it's not something that I feel we can keep going back and begging and begging and begging. And I don't want to do that, and I don't see a need to do that. I think anybody can go up and take the opportunity to look at the condition of the facility we have and make their own judgment as to whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
I will tell you this, if you have the meeting in the Louisville press box, there won't be anyone that would vote no. Because, oh my goodness. It's just nice that the press box, well, ours supposedly doesn't leak now, so that's good. Yes. It rained really hard the other day, and it did not rain inside of it, so so far, so
Okay.
just the stadium there was beautiful. So, I mean, it is nice to know that you can have a safe and a nice center of the community.
Okay, so I will schedule, just so you know, I'll schedule another subcommittee meeting early September and we'll go from there. And that concludes my.
Okay. Any questions?
Just do we need to add, under the consent agenda, superintendent's business, items T through X, and also item 10A, executive session for the purpose of employment.
Okay. Jane?
Not really a lot going on in July at Maplewood, so I brought the minute sheets to pass out and, you know, last few minutes anyway, so that's all I have, nothing really substantial tonight.
I have nothing substantial. Politics are all right. You know, it's a good opportunity to, you know, peruse the websites and, just, look over like the highlights of the mid-biennium review, as well as, keep, current on the Ohio Standard, just to see where that goes. That'll be over the course of the next year or so.
All right. Does anybody have anything under new business?
I just had a couple things.
Okay?
First of all, I mentioned to you guys earlier today, came through the building the other day, I don't know what day it was, this week, Monday, and just want to comment on what a great job the staff did getting the building ready. It looks really nice, the halls are all shiny, the rooms are clean, everything looks really great, ready for another school year. And just, our staff does such a great job during the summer getting the building ready. We're proud of them, it's nice, the kids walk into a really nice looking building, really clean and fresh and shiny, and that's really super. Other thing is, as Matt mentioned, we came in, is that we started our board retreat today at 3 o'clock. We started work from 3 till 7, and here we are. And I just want to thank Mr. Montgomery, the principals, and also the other people that presented. It was really nice, very great. We appreciate that time. I think it was a great use of our time, 4 hours. Kind of went a little fast. We kept getting hurried, but I think it was very worthwhile.
Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Carpenter, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But really appreciate it.
No, I think he was trying to say he was the long-winded one.
He's a problem.
Short.
Let me be clear.
You're fine.
As usual.
I do have this,
Yeah, you could.
just in case.
Just great information, and I think that those are good to do, and I think that we should definitely be doing one every year, if not every 6 months. You know, and I kind of like the format of, you know, coming early, or instead of trying to pick another day and all that, just come and do it early, hammer it out. Just great information, good exchange of ideas. Hopefully, some of the ideas were good from this side. So,
On that same note, one of the subjects that did come up, we wanted to talk about tonight was, usually what we do is we have a meeting, we visitor time, we have a meeting, then we go into executive session. Well, there's a lot of things, because as a board, we can only speak at the public meeting or during the executive session. So, one of the things that came up was a few people have been at meetings where the executive session is first. So, and which makes it kind of hard for people to come to the meeting, because then you come and you sit there for an hour or we're back in the room. So one of the suggestions was made that we have executive session first, and then, but let everybody know that the meeting isn't gonna start until an hour later. So we talked about that, and we told everybody to think about it, and so I'm bringing it up now. If we wanted to do that, what times would work? We want to do like 6:30 to 7:30 and go back to a 7:30 meeting, or like a regular meeting starts at 7:30, or do we want to do 6 to 7? What are we thinking?
wanna start with Brian?
No, that's, no one's better for you, go ahead, I'm ladies.
I'm a fan of the city, because, if we ever have to fall in afterwards, again, 7:30 meeting, and we're still pushing meeting.
So you're okay getting here at 6?
I get off work at 2, so.
Ken?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I definitely believe it's going to be an advantage to have some of these conversations and decisions at least identified and hashed out before we have our meetings. And it will actually help us focus because of the reduced amount of time that we have. It'll help us focus and be prepared to go through the agenda. So I'm definitely a 6 o'clock guy, meeting at 7.
Okay.
I'm in favor.
You're okay with that? And I can- Okay, so, what I was gonna say was, we just need to make sure it's being communication and make sure that it gets out there.
So the meeting starts.
Officially starts at 6.
But what we need to communicate is that, oh, you're smiling, right? You're smiling.
I know, sorry.
Stop calling the troublemaker out, the troublemaker in the family's out there.
Sisters out there, why do you keep smiling?
Well, I was watching them back it up and looking at Lee's truck, isn't that your truck, Lee? And I'm thinking, wonder how hard it is.
Can't even focus.
Here a while.
So,
What's going on?
we need to communicate that the meeting's gonna start at 6, but they don't have to be here till 7. And if we're not doing an executive session, we're not gonna start early, we'll just start at 7. So you need, it's 7 o'clock, but we're gonna be here an hour earlier.
Then when will we do visitor time? Because that's not part of the
That would
meeting.
be after the executive, at the start, it would be the same thing, we probably do a pledge of allegiance, I don't know if we do that first.
Well, just,
We'll
Brian,
handle
I would
that.
say you go through the pledge of allegiance, and then you go right, recess right into executive session.
Okay,
Then you adjourn, come out, reconvene the meeting, and then do the pledge. I'm sorry, then do recognition.
Okay.
Like Mr. Montgomery said, there's a slew of different ways you could.
We would do a roll call, we would do pledge, roll call, executive session.
Come back, recognition.
okay, so do we have a motion to recommend to change the meeting to 6 o'clock and change the structure?
So moved.
I'll second it. Okay. Did that, Brian? Did I say that right?
No, that's fine, I thought we were gonna have to do the consent agenda, but let me.
I'd rather just do it separately.
No, that's fine, so we had person carrying a motion, who else is second?
Okay, any questions or comments on that? Roll call?
Person Terry,
Yes.
Whittlesey, Gum,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Brock.
Motion passes. Okay, any other new business? We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything you wanted to go over?
Yeah, it's very long, so there's things that I can just.
We're talking.
Yeah.
I think we'll let the other newspapers.
Do you guys want to give them a 5-minute warning?
Yeah, Mr. Corey, would you like to take this part?
I don't know the yell at me later, so.
Oh, it's just, never do that. Okay, so here we go. Hold on tight. We're
You put
gonna.
us through a rigorous day, just so you know, and we have homework too.
Yeah.
You do have homework, I like that. Okay, so let's look at C, D, and E. So they're all resignations. So there was a resignation of Karen Jensen as head cook. There is a retirement of Kathy Brockett, and there is a resignation of Lauren Percy, the middle school art teacher. Lauren is going to, she got a full-time position. I was sorry to see her go, but I'm very happy for her at the same time. Kathy is retiring. She's worked with us for a long time, and she was sad to be going. She said at the right time. Karen is moving on to new things. We're gonna miss her as well, so there's 3 right in a row that I want to address and acknowledge. We're gonna jump down to the bottom of the page on I. The handbooks were approved, the building handbooks were approved last board meeting. This is a athletic handbook, and I did add that booster page at the end. So that is locked and loaded, and that was in your packet, absent of that booster page, which is added. J addresses some personnel contracts. I do want to draw your attention to Ashley Bisecker. Did I say that correctly? Very excited. She's ready to report. She's going to be one of our title tutors at the middle school, and we're happy to have her on board. And she's here. Is this your mother?
Yeah.
You look very similar. I was going to say sister, but.
I guess
Thank you.
I'll answer that.
I'm also going to jump over to the following page. We're on O. Mr. Bowles resigned. He is our health and PE teacher. He accepted an administrative position at Crestwood. He was searching this year. He was on internship did an internship for us this past year. Did a great job. And we wish him well. He was very excited. I was happy for him. That he's ready to jump into the other side. You might not like it when you're there, but he's going to be on the other side. There's also another title tutor listed under Q, and that's Kristen Woodard, but I don't think she's with us this evening.
She has an evening job, so she's not.
So she is at work right now, but when you see her around, we'll make sure you introduce yourself to us. We have Pamela Shargo with us. She is in the back. She's here early. She is going to be taking Lauren's spot with the middle school art teacher. She came with an enormous amount of experience and expertise, and I feel like she is going to hit the ground running. There will not be a hiccup in the curriculum. In fact, it will be, her expertise will shine through and works maybe better for it at the end. So I'm really happy that she's with us tonight, and that we're welcoming her on board. I think, how did I do, Mr. Corey? I think that's all. Oh, no. Consent agenda. Over a 10 on the addendum. All right? I thought I had. Joe Wittensoler, he resigned this year. He took over Dillon Realty and Dillon Properties in Ritztown. So that is his a full-time gig now. In addition to everything else that the man does, he's very busy. They're doing a great job with that, and I wish him well. And then Janae, you see a resignation for Janae as cook, and then the next item in E is issuing a continued contract as head cook. So she applied for the head cook position that was opened by Karen Justice, and she resigned from her existing position and is now going to the new position. And that's all I have to say because there's moving machinery behind it. Okay.
So we had to replace 2.
There's a cascading event right now happening in the cafeteria, so every time we fill one, another one opens up, and it's just going to keep shaking out. And we're hoping that we'll have it all wrapped up by the September board.
Can we have, if they might tell us where they're from? We do that, boss? We do that, Madam President?
I was gonna ask the same thing. I was just waiting for you to start.
I'm done.
Oh, we're gonna start that.
I'm not gonna interrupt, but go ahead. You wanna go first?
Okay, I'm from Wadsworth. I graduated from Bowling Green State University. I was super involved on campus. I'm really excited to be a part of this school district. I feel like I can learn a lot here, and hopefully I can grow with you guys. I'm so excited about it.
Welcome.
My name is Pamela Shago, and I live in the area. I live down in Charlestown, so I'm really close. My girls grew up in Southeast School District, and my daughter was in Mr. Quizzitari's wife's class for kindergarten. And I was her head homeroom mom, and her sub. I was always her substitute teacher.
I didn't know that when I hired her.
Yeah,
She made no connections.
Yeah, I was surprised all the time. I was fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home mom for a few years. That was really great. I went to Grove City for my LEd degree. I went to Kent State for my art degree. And I have been teaching in Akron for the last 10 years. And before that, I had a year at Stanton Middle School in Kent. And before that, having the children, I taught at a Christian school way back when I got out of college for about 5 years, and I did everything there. So I'm really looking forward to being here. I feel so blessed. Thank you.
You're welcome, both. Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda with the addition of 10 and 10A?
Just
Yeah.
10, because 10 is the exact.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, just the addition of 10. Sorry.
I so moved.
Second. Any questions, comments? Roll call?
Mrs. Terry?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Brock?
Motion passes. Okay, now, I have a motion to recess into executive session. Or?
We have to.
Thank you.
A2.
Thank you, Lee. Yep.
A2.
Thank you. I so moved.
Second? Okay. Questions? Roll call?
Yes.
Mrs. Terry?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes. We don't expect any action coming out of it.
I'm tired, yes.